Diego, you mentioned, I'm sorry, I should be calling Deputy Herrera. You mentioned you're a deputy. Can you tell me where you're a deputy with?
Dona County Sheriff's Department.
Okay. How long have you been there?
I'm going on 5 years.
5 years?
It's going to be 5 years.
Okay. Do you have any other law enforcement experience for us?
Yes, I was 13 and a half years with New Mexico State Police.
Okay. Anything before MSP?
No.
No? Okay. So, what's your assigned? What are you?
Just a regular patrol deputy.
Patrol deputy?
Good.
You assigned to the north or south area?
North patrol.
Okay.
So again, the reason we're here is because there was an incident that happened last Thursday, February 4th, 2021. So what I'm going to do is just going to leave it open. Have you tell me what occurred that day, what your involvement was, how you got involved, and then we'll go back and answer a couple questions. Sound good?
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
So that day I was assigned, I had just started day shift the day before. I've been graveyards basically my whole career. I decided to switch to day shift, so it was my second day on day shift. I was assigned to District 4, which it's basically from I-10 south towards Vado and La Mesa. So when the pursuit started, I was at Flea, which I don't know exactly the address, but it's by the Walmart by Walton. I was leaving there. I had to get 2 new batteries in my unit, so I had just left. I was leaving when my partner that day, which is Unit 1109, was dispatched to a pursuit. Agency assist, it came as an agency assist pursuit coming from Deming. State Police is in pursuit. So at that point, I asked dispatch to put me on the call, and I started heading down towards Lohman. And then the next radio transmission that I remember was New Mexico State Police officer was shot, and it's possibly 10-7. So at that point, I put lights and sirens, and at that point, a lot of it is pretty foggy because, so my brother is the captain in District 12, and I know that he was 10-8 that day, and I know that it happened there in Deming. So, it was like, well, shit, I wonder who it is because, it's just I wanted to know who it was right away. So then the next radio transmission it's actually the New Mexico State Police confirmed 10-7, so I was like, holy shit, man. I'm lights and sirens, and I know that I called my brother just to see, and then he answered, and then when he answered, I think all I said is, we'll get him, we'll stop him here, and then I hung up, and then at that point it was just like, okay, focus on what's going on, the pursuit, where is it coming from, I was trying to, there was so much people getting on the radio that there was no a specific place that anybody wanted to set up at, and I suggested, I think I remember that I suggested that we should all meet at the 140 and wait, for the pursuit to come, but then everybody was, they're going here, they're going there, I could hear people going everywhere, and then as this radio transmission was, it's always a little bit delayed anyways, but I heard that the whoever the suspect was shooting out of the vehicle, 2 units on the side of the road and just shooting out the window. So I got to the 132 exit, which is the Picacho exit of I-10, and I was right there by the bridge, and I was gonna get out my AR and the spikes, but I heard they were passing the 135, so it would have been probably too late to do that. So at that point, I just got in my unit, and I was waiting for the pursuit to get close. And then when I saw the pursuit coming, I saw that there was a big old gap in between the units pursuing the suspect vehicle. So I started speeding up, and then jumped on the pursuit, jumped as primary at that point because there was a big old gap. So, and I wasn't gonna let this guy go or anything. You know, my mind was set that this guy was gonna be stopped at whatever possible, whatever it took. This guy was gonna be stopped. And in my mind, I was thinking already ramming or pitting or something. And then so I got behind him, and then it was not even half a mile when I observed the LCPD Camaro, which I found out later it was De La Garza, like jump in front of me. So I had to hit on the brakes and kind of veer left in order to not. I mean, I missed him by inches. I mean, I could just see his bumper like right in front of me. Like I barely missed him, and went into the median. And then, you know, so I had to, but I was able to control my unit, bring it back onto the road, and get back in the pursuit, you know. And so at one point, the suspect went on the side onto the shoulder as he was approaching motel. I remember he went on the side of some semis, and everybody was coming so he went on the right side of the road on the shoulder, on the south shoulder, and so everybody kept going on the fast lane. I went behind, and I was right behind the guy, the suspect vehicle. I followed his same path. At one point, I think at Avenida, at Motel Boulevard, they were able to spike and get two tires, use the spikes and get two tires, and that's when the vehicle, I mean, the guy kept accelerating, but it was just kind of sliding. It was on a side slide the whole time. I saw the Camaro getting ready to maneuver the pit, to do the pit maneuver, and so at that point my thought is like, well, hopefully he can get that, and if not, I'm ready to ram this guy or take him out. But the pit worked. But at the same time, I was thinking in my mind that I was gonna still ram the vehicle because if the Camaro kind of got stuck a little bit under the truck as he did the pit. And so it couldn't go to the side, like kind of we're usually when we pit. Well, I learned the pit maneuver through state police. So when you pit, you hit and you kind of go to the side. Well, he couldn't, and so he kind of got stuck a little bit. So at that point, I didn't know whether the car, when he came to a dead stop, he was gonna turn or do anything. So I couldn't just go and accelerate towards. So I started slowing down. I had my gun drawn already. And at that point, I remember seeing the guy running towards the LCPD unit and started shooting at the LCPD unit. I got out, and at that point, I saw De La Garza fall, and that's when I started just firing my gun towards the suspect. And then so at that point, I don't know exactly, obviously, how many shots I took while he was standing between his truck and the LCPD unit. But then I know that then the guy fell, like started running towards his truck again. I figured maybe take cover or, get another weapon. But I saw him fall, and as he was falling, I still took a few shots under because I could see him laying there. I could see the truck lifted a little bit, so I still had a good shot, and so I still fired the rest of my shots at him. And then the gun was empty. I ran around. I was going to get him right away because I could see the gun that was on the side. But since whoever was there started yelling, like, the gun, and he might have another one, I kind of hesitated a little bit. And then, so I reloaded. And then, but then somebody else, I don't know who it was, came and like kicked the gun. And at that point, I went and I got the guy and I just dragged him out of there away from the vehicle and any other possibility of getting weapons, but his arms kind of just flopped a little bit, so I was able to get on him, get an arm. And on the video, I didn't even remember this, but I guess I gave my gun to whoever was behind me to hold it so I can get the handcuffs, and I got my handcuffs, and I handcuffed the guy. And at that point is when I got up, and then from that moment, I don't remember nothing. That moment, after that, everything went blank, and I just like, a few minutes later, whenever it was, I was already like walking, like I was away from the scene, and my vest was off, and I don't remember that. And then after that, I go forward to where like I was with Sergeant Flores by his unit, and then Lieutenant Cogdell told me that he was taking me to the office. So after that, it's kind of like, it's a little bit, I don't know what the hell happened after that.
Okay. Are you okay with us going back and asking a couple of questions?
Yes.
Okay. So you mentioned you were at Fleet by the Walmart.
Correct.
When the call came in about a pursuit coming from Deming.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all the information that was relayed at that time?
At that time, that's what I heard. Agency assist.
Agency
Pursuit coming down from Deming, state police involved. That was the only thing when they dispatched us that I remember.
Okay. They didn't say what mile marker or anything like that?
Well, they were saying mile markers, but I don't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't remember. But they were saying mile markers as they were coming.
Okay. And how far after that one is it when you learned that the NMSP officer was shot?
Immediately, like the next transmission was that,
Okay.
the next transmission, because I was still, now, like I remember that actually when that transmission came, for some reason, I made a right turn instead of going up to I-25. And I realized that, and I made a U-turn, and I went back up to I-25 because I was so like holy shit, I didn't know what's going on, so.
Okay. When the radio was relaying, or dispatch relaying the information about the officer down and where it was coming, did they give a description as to who was in pursuit, like what you guys were chasing, or what was?
I remember a white truck. That's all I remember. A white truck.
Is that the information they gave?
The information of the vehicle being chased or being in pursuit, the suspect vehicle being a white truck.
Okay. Did they mention that it was armed or anything?
Well, no, yeah. They said that the suspect was armed and he was actually shooting out the window as he was driving.
Okay. So then, after that, you got on I-10 and you went towards, you were going to go to the Picacho exit, correct?
Correct.
To put spikes?
Yeah.
But that didn't plan out?
Correct.
So you went to the 140?
No, from there is when I got into pursuit.
Oh, that's correct. Okay, so after you weren't able to deploy spikes or anything, you became the primary?
Correct. I jumped there and that was the primary at that point.
Okay. How big of a gap do you estimate there was between the pursuing officers and the suspect vehicle before?
I don't know, I would say maybe in yards, I would say like 20 yards maybe.
Okay.
20 to 30 yards.
Okay.
Enough where like I was able to start accelerating and jumped in and didn't like take anybody out, but...
And nobody took you over?
No.
Okay. Then after that is when LCPD, the Camaro,
Correct.
took you over. You almost got into an accident. So basically it was you and the Camaro?
For a little, well, no, because I went into the median, so the pursuit kept going and a few units were still going, but I jumped back in and I just started freaking passing everybody because I saw the Camaro by itself chasing, and I'm just in my mind, I was just thinking like whatever I didn't know he was the Garza at that point, but he had his mind set that he was gonna take this guy out, and I was like, well, that's my mind too right now, so that's where I'm gonna be at, next to him, and we're gonna be like, I felt like the other ones were a little bit hesitant, and I was like, hell no, I wasn't gonna be hesitant, One of ours had already been taken out, and I wasn't gonna let that guy go at any time, at any point or nothing. So I tried to catch up, and eventually I caught up. But then that's when he started maneuvering to do the pit. So I kind of slowed down because I didn't know what was going to happen at that point. But I had already my gun drawn by that point too. When I came to a stop, I threw it in gear with this hand, and I came out.
Okay. So after the pit worked and you got out and you fired your weapon, which weapon did you fire?
My handgun.
Your handgun?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have your AR on you?
No.
Okay, so it was just strictly your handgun that you fired?
Yeah.
Okay. And my last question is going to be, you mentioned that you could see him under the truck. So were you
Correct.
shooting shots like towards under the truck?
Yes.
Okay.
As he fell, I still shot under the truck.
Okay.
Deputy Herrera, at any point in time when you engaged into the pursuit, whether it be the first time or after you'd come back into the median, do you recall either seeing, hearing, or feeling any strikes or impacts from any bullets coming to your vehicle?
Not in my vehicle, but I did hear people saying that he's shooting at us during my when I was in the pursuit and stuff. I still heard people saying that he's shooting at us. And then as we went past motel, the units there got shot at, apparently, because I think I remember hearing them say, we just got shot. So
Okay. And just so I make sure it's clarified, you're hearing it over the radio broadcast channel. Okay.
Yes, I did hear it.
And then in regards to the handgun that you utilize, is it department issued or is it your
Yes.
personal one?
No, department issue.
Issued? Okay. I don't have anything else about that part. If I can, just a little bit about your just brief background as far as like your training experience outside of the academy. Anything else special, enhanced, specific training in regards to like pursuits or firearms, anything like that?
Well, with DASO, I haven't received any extra training. All my training that I received was through New Mexico State Police, where I received training with the pit maneuver.
Okay.
So I've been with State Police. I was involved in I was able to do. I was able to utilize that maneuver 3 times, and then just no extra training with DASO, no extra training, and the handgun, just whatever I received with State Police too. Like
Okay.
we would do a lot of extra training with State Police.
So just went on like your basic biennium training, stuff like
That,
that.
and then
some extra.
Yeah, we would do like
Okay.
the extra, like a different, like from like moving and shooting from under like a car, and like different type of scenarios
Okay.
that we would do with State Police. That towards the end of my career with State Police, I did a lot of that.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay. Deputy Herrera, when you were primary and you were, I'm assuming, right behind them, did you ever see the firearm in the suspect's arm?
No.
No. Now, when Officer De La Garza got in front of you, were you able to see if the suspect was tracking De La Garza with a firearm or anything like that?
No, I wasn't able to see that.
Okay. So just a little bit, and what kind of vehicle were you in?
A Tahoe,
A Tahoe?
2018 Tahoe.
Is that a marked unit?
Yes, it's marked.
Okay, it has all the markings and lights on it?
Correct.
Okay. And how were you dressed that day?
In my Class B uniform.
Okay. What does that consist of?
Well, BDUs. I had my black boots, my blue BDU pants, my polo, and then my tactical vest that they have issued us, and then my Sam Brown.
Okay. Were you wearing a narrow vest? Yeah, you mentioned something about a vest.
Yes.
Is that one also, does that display your badge of office? And
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Badge of office.
Alright, I know it's going to be a silly question, but bear with me. Can you describe the lighting that day?
Well, it was bright.
It was bright?
It was bright. It was nice, beautiful sunny day, clear skies.
Mm-hmm. And were you wearing anything that could obstruct your vision or anything like that?
I might have been wearing my sunglasses, but I don't even recall if I was or not. I usually am. But
Okay. All right. Those are all the questions I have. Pass it on to the detectives here.
I don't have any further questions.
I don't have any. No, sir. Thank you. All right. Do you have any questions?
No.
No? Okay. Well, Deputy Herrera, thank you for coming. I'll end this interview now at 4:09 p.m.